Hey you guys, welcome to YOGALATES with SJ and to this full body toning workout. So this is a full body sculpt and we are only going to be here for 17 minutes, but we are certainly going to be working through every single muscle. This is going to be a full body transformation workout and you don't need any equipment, but what we do need is just something that you can hold on to. So whether or not it be a stool, a chair, the back of a couch or a step ladder like I have, so that we can just find our balance here. So we're just coming to bring the left hand onto your support, coming onto the balls of the feet, heels together, toes slightly turned out, and then you are lengthening the right toes forward, and then you are bending through the knee to draw the toes in towards the shin. So as you continue to do this, I just want you to make sure that you are staying high on those left toes and you are keeping your core softly engaged. You've also got the inner thigh pointing towards the ceiling. So we are keeping that really nice long line out from the hip, out the toes, and using your core to draw that leg in and up. And then we are lengthening out, just staying here, just making tiny circles in one direction. So straight out from the hip, the toes are pointing outward, heels slightly turned in, and then reversing, going back the other way, using your inner thighs as well as the outer thigh, the hip, to circle the leg. Tiny circles. Now staying here, coming back through center, and tiny pulses up and down, just very, very small pulses. The accent is on the up and then coming back down. Nice work. Now let's come all the way back down onto the heels and bringing the feet out a little bit wider. Let's come straight to the other side. You are bringing your right hand onto your support and you are doing the same thing. So we're starting to lengthen the left toes out and you are bending through the knee as you start to draw those toes in towards the shin. So just making sure that you are keeping that right heel lifted, staying really high here through your left, and shoulders are relaxed. You've got your jaw relaxed and we are lengthening out and drawing back in. Then we are staying here, lengthening those toes out and straight out from the hip, finding those tiny circles in one direction, just a very small circle, and then going back the other way, little circles in the opposite direction, and imagining that it's the hip making these circles. So you are really working into the legs. Now let's stay here and starting to just lift and lower, tiny lift and lower, making sure that the accent is on the up. So it's just a little lift up, 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 and coming back down. Nice. Let's come all the way back down. And we are starting to step out. So toes turned out, heels slightly turned in. Your right toes are coming out to the side, bringing the arms out into a T. And then you are just keeping that openness through the hip as you start to draw the toes in towards the front side of the shin. And then you are lengthening the toes back out again. So keeping this going, if you want to make this even more challenging, you can come up onto the toes of that left supporting foot. And then let's come straight over to the other side. So finding the same thing on this left leg. So you are just making sure you're not gripping into the toes here through that right supporting foot. And you've got both hips opening out and you are keeping the hip in line with the toes. Nice. Let's come all the way back down through center, and this time you can come to face your support here. Just coming up high, bringing the heels up, and we are just staying in that Pilates V with the feet. But we have got our legs in more of a sumo kind of positioning, so a little bit wider than shoulder distance. And then you are just starting to lift up through that left heel and the right heel is down. You are starting to reach the right arm up and over to that left side, and then drawing the elbow to come back into the side waist. And as you continue with this on this side, you're finding a little bit more length from that right hip all the way out the fingertips, and you are using your core to draw you all the way back through to the center again. And then let's come straight to the other side. So starting to lower down the heel and lifting up through the opposite heel as you keep low into your squat, and we are starting to lift that left arm up and over, and imagining that it is almost as though you're coming up and over something round over on that side. So you're really lifting up towards the ceiling, and then we are maintaining that lift as you come over to that right side, and then drawing the elbow back in towards the sideways, keeping the ribs closed and keeping the core softly engaged. Nice. Let's come back through center, and you are just lifting up high onto the balls of both feet, so lifting both heels, and then you are starting to soften the heels down as you lower down into your squat position. So now we're staying in that squat, and you're just doing a very, very small little half lift. So it's just a lift up and down through that bottom range of your squat. So coming down as low as you can, but making sure that the knees are not going forward of the toes. And then you are just lifting up a little bit, squeezing into the inner thighs, the pelvic floor, and then coming back down. Let's stay in that mid-range now. So coming to about midway, and just little pulses up and down. So very small pulses up and down, making sure that you are keeping the pelvis neutral. And then we're coming to the top range, just starting to come up a little bit higher, nearly to the top, tiny pulses. And then we are coming all the way back up. This time you're starting to just do a 3 count down, and then a 3 count up, and then a 3 count down, and a 3 count back up, making sure that the knees are tracking in line with the toes, so you're not rolling the knees inward and you're not rolling the knees too far outward, squeezing into those inner thighs as you come up, keeping your core engaged. Let's stay here. Beautiful. And we are coming to bring both hands onto your support, and you are bringing your weight into the right supporting foot. Left leg comes back, and we are lifting and lowering that left leg behind you. So it's a very small lift and lower, and really using your glute muscle to lift and lower the leg, keeping your core engaged. And then it is a tiny circle in one direction. Tiny circle here in one direction, and then the other, going back the other way, keeping the hips directly pointing down towards the earth, and keeping your ribs closed. And then it's just a lift and lower again. So tiny lift and lower, and then we are just pulsing, tiny pulses, really getting into the smile line underneath that glute. So thinking about that space there, and then you are bending through the knee, and you are pressing the heel back, toes pointing straight down. So it's just a little draw in and press back, keeping everything else in the body really still here, making sure you're not locking out through that supporting knee. Now you're finding a little glute kick here, so just bringing the back of that heel in towards the glute, and then you are straightening out the leg again. So you're really squeezing into the hamstring, the back of the leg, and using the glute as well as the hamstring to work through this. Nice. Let's come all the way back down, and bringing the foot back down onto your mat, and just taking a moment here, and let's come straight over to bring the left leg out to the side. So just keeping the core engaged, ribs are closed, and you are lifting and lowering through the outer thigh on that left side, as well as the outside of the glute, really also bringing your mind to the inner thigh as you squeeze that inner thigh to come back in towards the other leg. And keeping length here all the way into the back of the neck, and then let's stay out with the leg. So it's a tiny little lift and lower at that top range, lifting out and drawing back into that halfway point, and then lifting back out again. So it is a really small lift out and squeeze in, and keeping it going, making sure you're breathing, and then let's go to that full range. So it is all the way down, and then pressing all the way out, using the outer thigh, the outside of that glute, also using the hip to draw outward, squeezing into the inner thighs, and lifting up out of the pelvic floor to draw back in, making sure everything else is staying really still. Shoulders are relaxed, and you have got the belly button back towards the spine. Let's come straight over to the other side, you guys. Moving quickly, we are getting it all in today in a short amount of time. Let's come over to the other side. So right leg comes back, You've got that slight forward hinge here. Hands come on to your support and you are lifting up and lowering down. Tiny lift up, lower down, making sure you've got softness into that supporting knee, and tiny circles straight out from that hip, tiny circles in one direction. Hips are pointing straight down, and then let's go back in the opposite direction. Little circles, and using your glute, using the back of that leg as well as the hip, and then we are just doing those little pulses up and down. Tiny pulses, just a little lift, lower down, keeping your ribs closed, keeping your core very engaged. Nice. Let's come to start to do that press back. So bending through the knee and your toes are pointing straight down. Heel is pressing back, drawing in, making sure everything is staying really still here. And then we are into the little glute kicks. So starting to bring the back of the heel in towards the glute, and then you are drawing the leg back out again. Making sure you're not rocking over to either side. So you're keeping your weight really through that center line the whole time here, and you've got softness into that supporting knee. And then let's draw that leg all the way back in, and we will come to open the leg out to the side, finding a beautiful strength on this right leg now. So starting to just take your time to find a really nice positioning here, and then you are bringing the right leg out, drawing the leg back in, using those inner thighs to draw back together, and you are pressing outwards and drawing back inward. And breathing, really bringing your mind to the muscles that we're working here, really, really important. And then let's just keep the leg out. So we are holding that leg at that hip height, and you are just lifting and lowering. So it's a tiny little lift and a tiny little lower down again. So making sure that the hips are still staying really even here, and you're not locking out through either of the knee joints. And then we are coming to do that full range. So it's all the way down and then lifting all the way back out again. So continuing here to really connect into all of the muscles, making sure that you're breathing, and we are keeping the left supporting toes as well, not gripping. So making sure you're not gripping through those toes. And let's come all the way back down. Beautiful work. Now we're going to come all the way down onto our mat here and really get into the core. So the whole core muscles here. Just coming to a plank. So you might want to drop the knees if you want to, or you can be in your higher plank if you feel to. Just making sure that the elbows be in line with the shoulders, your core engaged, and you aren't sinking the hips down, and you're not lifting the hips up too high. You've got this really nice long line from the top of the head all the way out the heels. And then we are starting to keep those ribs closed, keeping everything strong here, and just starting to dip the hips. So dipping the hips to one side, coming back through center, and then coming over to the other side. Really, really keeping everything very still though, guys, and making sure that you are still maintaining that awesome form. If it's too much, you can always drop the knees down, and you can just stay in a half plank. And we really want to be making sure that we're always working with good form. It's the most important thing, and you're also able to breathe really freely. Nice. Now let's come back through center, and you are starting to just lower the knees down, so bending the knees and hovering those knees, and then pressing the heels back as you come back to your plank. So we are just finding a little kind of drop of those knees down, and then you are lengthening back through the legs again, and then let's take it all the way down. So dropping the knees down and just taking a moment here to lift the heels up towards the glutes, and you are lifting up and through, pressing into the hands and lifting up through the front side of the body, and then you are lowering all the way down. Forehead kisses the earth, bringing the elbows to point straight back. Top of the feet are connected onto your mat here, and you have got a soft core engagement as you start to lift up. So lifting up and allowing the whole front side of the heart center to shine forward, keeping your core engaged and ribs are closed, and you've got the top of the feet pressing still into your mat, and you're lowering down with control, really slowly. Elbows are going straight back, shoulders away from the ears, and you're lowering down with that maintenance of the core. And then you are coming back up. So using your core muscles only to lift you up, using also the back body, so the back muscles as well as the heart center, the chest muscles to lift you up, and then you are lowering all the way back down. So rather than imagining that you're pressing so much into the hands, you're really using your core to lift you all the way up, making sure you've got lots of length through the lower back. So you've got belly button coming back towards the spine. You have got the head and the neck in the same line as the rest of the back, and then lowering down with control. Inhale as you come up, lifting. Nice. And then exhale, coming all the way to just press into the hands, pressing the hips back towards the heels. Taking a moment here to just let everything relax down. Maybe the forehead might come towards the mat, and then you are bringing the belly button back towards the spine, finding a rounding into the spine, chin tucks down towards the chest, and then you are slowly starting to lower all the way down, shoulders away from the ears, letting the back of the heels come in towards the glutes, and bringing the legs together, and you have got those legs gluing together as you then start to press all the way up, rounding the spine, sitting back towards the heels, and then on an inhale starting to shift forward, shoulders away from the ears as you bring the heels back towards the glutes and finding that openness, and then pressing back again, so starting to press back, and then inhale as you shift forward, lifting the toes up towards the ceiling, lifting the gaze, and then you are starting to round back, bringing the pelvis all the way back, and then inhale as you come forward, finding that openness all the way through the front side of the body, and we're also getting a beautiful back bend here, and then exhale as you round all the way back, pelvis comes back towards the heels, lowering the forehead down, finding length through the shoulders, through the arms, and then inhale as you start to round forward again, exhale, lowering all the way down. You're all done, you guys. You've done an amazing job today. I hope you enjoyed this workout as much as I did. I'd love to hear how you got on, and I cannot wait to see you again soon. It would be amazing to hear all about how you're going, and so let me know in the comments, and see you again soon. Have an amazing rest of your day. Take care.